Coming up, one person is dead and traffic was terrible, even by Bay Area standards, after a major accident this morning on a local freeway.
A first-of-its-kind entertainment complex opens tomorrow. We'll give you a live sneak peek next.
Why in the world would anyone do this? You'll find out.
Plus, more developments overseas in Kosovo. It's all coming up on the Noon News. Reports that investigators say they have hard evidence to link 3 suspects to the Yosemite tourist murder case.
Officials check to see if another massive rock slide could occur at Yosemite.
And a sneak preview of the Bay Area's newest place to have major high-tech fun. It's all coming up next on the Noon News.
Live from the award-winning Channel 2 newsroom, the Noon News.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Frank Somerville.
And I'm Tori Campbell. Federal investigators reportedly have physical evidence now tying 3 suspects to the killings of Carol and Julie Sund and their friend Silvina Peloso. Kim Yonenaka has late details on this break in the case from Modesto.
The FBI has reportedly seized incriminating fibers and other physical evidence that is apparently being used to help confirm verbal statements allegedly made by several key suspects. The new information comes from an article in the San Francisco Chronicle citing sources close to the investigation. One of those under suspicion for the murders of Carol and Julie Sund and Silvina Peloso is ex-con Eugene Dykes. Dykes has already allegedly admitted his role in the killings. 3 other suspects are also reportedly talking to federal investigators. It's not known if Dykes' half-brother, accused cop shooter Michael Larwick, is one of them. The other 2 possible suspects are Billy Strange and Daryl Stevens. All allegedly belong to a violent drug-using group made up of ex-cons in the Central Valley. The FBI has not formally named anyone in this case, but Carol Carrington says she's confident the people responsible are off the streets.
I may celebrate then when there's an arrest because I do feel that probably the people that are involved are in jail on other charges. So I do feel a little better about that.
The Carringtons arrived in Modesto last night for a fundraising dinner. They've established the Carol Sund Memorial Reward Foundation to help other families of murder victims. While the Carringtons focus their energy on this new foundation, FBI agents move forward with this case, reportedly investigating whether the women were the victims of a carjacking in Modesto or possibly in Tuolumne County, or if they were kidnapped near Cedar Lodge in El Portal, where they were last seen February 15th. All 4 of the possible suspects are being held on unrelated charges, including Michael Larwick, who remains here at the Stanislaus County Jail. FBI officials have yet to name any suspects specifically, and there is no word yet on when any formal charges will be filed. In Modesto, Kim Yonenaka for the Noon News.
A National Park Service geologist today is inspecting the cliffs at Yosemite National Park where a rock slide killed a climber Sunday night. Emergency crews yesterday recovered the body of 22-year-old Peter Turbush from Colorado. Officials say he died of head injuries when he was hit by a falling boulder. Turbush and 2 friends were climbing on the cliffs below Glacier Point when 100 tons of rock gave way. Turbush's climbing companions say he saved them from being hit, but it ended up costing him his life. The geologists today will try to figure out if the cliff is sufficiently stable now to reopen the climbing area that's near Curry Village.
President Clinton heads to Germany today to meet with European leaders. The trip is expected to focus on the Kosovo peacekeeping mission and the Serb troop withdrawal, which now appears to be on schedule, though not always in a peaceful fashion. Tracy Mitchell joins us from our Washington, D.C. bureau with the latest. Tracy?
Well, Tori and Frank, the Serb forces now have only 3 hours to meet their first deadline, and NATO believes that will happen. Serb soldiers are still in Kosovo, but they're moving out quickly. By the end of the day, they have to be out of southern Kosovo. And by the end of the week, they have to be out of all of Kosovo. NATO says the Serb forces are withdrawing on time.
We have absolutely nothing to indicate that that will not happen.
As the Serb soldiers leave, homes are being torched and looted. NATO peacekeepers are driving by those areas and searching for landmines. Today, relief workers handed out pamphlets to teach refugees about landmines and warn them that going home now isn't safe. Still, thousands of refugees packed their bags and headed back to Kosovo. For some, the journey has already been deadly.
This morning we had an incident in which 2 people were killed and 1 elderly man was badly injured in a landmine accident as they were trying to cross the border illegally over the mountains.
As ethnic Albanians flood the borders to return to Kosovo, there is a new refugee exodus. Serb civilians are leaving on tractors and buses. Many say they're afraid of the ethnic Albanians and especially of the Kosovo Liberation Army. Today, KLA forces came out of hiding and headed into Kosovo. They're setting up camp to stay. The Pentagon says NATO is still working on plans to disarm them.
One of the goals that NATO has is to demilitarize the KLA. The KLA has said that it will honor the agreement. It has said that they will not harass Serb troops on their way out, and generally they have honored that part of the agreement.
Meanwhile, more Russian troops are headed to Kosovo, even though their government said it wouldn't happen. Russia says the troops are bringing much-needed food and fuel to the Russian soldiers who have taken over the Kosovo airport. NATO allies say they're not worried.
We'll see what happens, but this is a small group of soldiers bringing in supplies in 11 vehicles, and it seems reasonable.
Now, while NATO works out the details of the peacekeeping mission, it seems a very influential church in Yugoslavia, the Serbian Orthodox Church, is calling for Yugoslav President Slobodan Milosevic and his entire government to resign. That's the very latest from Washington. I'm Tracy Mitchell. Frank and Tori, back to you.
Okay, Tracy. In Alameda County, sheriff's investigators are searching for a gunman they say robbed a large Castro Valley drugstore early this morning and tied up 2 employees. Police arrived at the Rite Aid pharmacy on East Castro Valley Boulevard at about 6:30 this morning. They say they found 6 workers inside, including the store manager and another employee who were tied up. However, at that point, the gunman was long gone. The robber reportedly had a handgun and a knife and got away with an unspecified amount of money.
Actually, their information came out that we had a hostage situation. That turns out not to be the case, and once we got inside and got control of the scene, there wasn't a hostage situation. We thought that's why but we're still checking because we don't like to overlook the fact that we don't want to walk away from this guy and have the guy pop out of a box someplace.
Fortunately, no one was hurt. Police say they are continuing their search now for the gunman.
It was a rough go on the Nimitz Freeway through Oakland this morning. The Highway Patrol says a man was killed while trying to cross Interstate 880 on foot. He was run over by a big rig about 4:45 this morning at Fruitvale Avenue. Police shut down 3 of the 4 southbound lanes for about 2.5 hours while the CHP investigated the accident. The man's identity has not been released, but police say he was a transient. The San Francisco Airport Commission is set to approve a controversial multi-million-dollar plan today that could bring SFO new runways. The $9 million plan hinges on the airport getting permission to fill 14 acres of wetlands for added runway space. In exchange, the Airport Commission will create new bay wetlands and restore another 472 acres of existing wetlands from San Francisco to Palo Alto. Meantime, a community forum on the airport runway expansion plan will also take place tonight in Mountain View at a Center for Performing Arts.
It certainly looks like the force is with filmmaker George Lucas. His company, Lucasfilms, has grabbed development rights at the Presidio. Lucas plans...
Mechanics is critical. These are...
Those annoying and seemingly never-ending calls from telemarketers have, well, they've rung Brian Copeland's bell one too many times. And Brian has something to say about that in today's commentary from Copeland's Corner.
One of the things that gets under my skin the most is when I'm sitting down to dinner with my family and I get a phone call on my unlisted number from Bob calling to tell me about an exciting offer. I've got an exciting offer for you too, Bob. Don't call my house again and I won't hunt you down like a dog. Or how about picking up the phone and it's not even a human being irritating you, it's a recording. Please hold for an important announcement. No, if it were that important, there'd be a person on the line. Or worse still, how about the telemarketer who won't take no for an answer? I'm not interested. You will be as soon as I tell you about all the advantages to... No, leave me alone. You'll never be left alone again if you buy... What are you, a pit bull? Take the hint. No. Telemarketers are the bane of society. They're not only intrusive and annoying, but they defraud people, mainly seniors, out of an estimated $40 billion a year. It's for that reason that I don't understand why the state legislature won't pass a law allowing people to be put on a don't call list. If I don't want to be hassled by strangers in my own home, I should have that right. And so should you. I'm Brian Copeland.
And finally, what would you do to win a free bed? In Rhonda can't even look at this. In Australia, several would-be bedwinners hopped between the sheets with a boa constrictor. Can you believe this? The competitors had to spend at least 10 minutes in the bed with the snake, and this is just to qualify for the prize. The snake's owner joked the stunt was safe because the snake, quote, hasn't eaten anybody this week. And yeah, what a joke, huh? And while some people found snuggling with the snake a little repulsive, at least one competitor said he loved it. There's always one of those people in the crowd, isn't there?
Oh,
this is just to qualify for the bed.
Going up,
Man, you'd have to give me a heck of a lot more than a bed to sit in the bed.
Yeah, Rhonda, you can look now.
I just turned around now.
That'll do it for the noon news. Dennis and Leslie will be here with us 10 o'clock news tonight.
And we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great afternoon, okay? Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
He's a man of the law, often outspoken, dispensing his version of justice. Judge Mills Lane, coming up next here on Fox 2.